Some games from last gen deserve a second chance on PS4.
Let's talk about that tonight.
On Triangle Squared! Hello, and welcome to episode 19 of Triangle Squared.
Lucky number 19.
If you are joining us for the first time, we are Triangle Squared, a PlayStation podcast. We post every Monday at 12 p.m. CST and 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. The little switch up there.
Yeah.
On YouTube in a video format where you can watch our lovely faces, or you can hear our lovely voices on SoundCloud,
Silky
iTunes,
smooth.
Google Play Music, Podbean, Podcast Addict. That's another one I remembered off the top of my head that one of our listeners uses.
Sweet.
Yeah, so
we learn new things every
getting better
day.
at it all the time. So, Saul, before we hop into everything, let's do our little normal run-of-the-mill thing, because as has been the motif for the last few episodes is that we never see each other during the week anymore.
We sure don't.
Our weekends is our hangout time.
Maybe, though, if I get this new job,
maybe.
we'll be... I'm so excited I can't even speak.
Okay. Well, anyway, I don't know if you've had time. I've been splitting my time a little more between just games this week for once, and for the first time in a while, actually. So what have you been playing?
So I suck at being a PlayStation fan because
You've only been playing the Switch?
I picked up Splatoon 2. Boy, do I love
You're
that game.
a kid now?
I love that game. Oh my God.
Are you a squid?
I'm a squid. That game is so fun. I never thought that a handheld online shooter,
It's not a handheld.
technically not. It's a hybrid console. But
we have to go off of what they market it as.
I don't care.
And they market it as a home console.
I docked it probably 9 times the total amount I've had the whole entire thing.
I docked it the first day I got it. That's it.
I was playing Splatoon and Annie was wanting to watch me play, so I put it up on the big screen. But I've been playing Splatoon.
One of these days
2.
you'll just be able to like Chromecast your image over.
That'll be, if there's no lag, that'll be fantastic.
Well, yeah, of course. But that's what I mean. In an ideal world where speeds are high enough and America doesn't have really spotty internet coverage. Could you imagine that has to go through a router, right? Or actually, I guess you could just have your dock be the receiver, kind of like PS4 does for remote play.
Yeah.
But opposite, technically.
That would be cool. It'd be wireless then. But Splatoon 2 is great. But I picked up another game on Switch, of course, called Mighty Gunvolt Burst.
Okay.
It's a combination of Mighty Number 9 and Gunvolt. Way better than Mighty Number 9.
Welcome to YZ, a Nintendo podcast.
You're right. Hey, I'm just being honest.
That's cool. That's cool.
This
Hold
segment's
on.
always a
So
little more personal.
are you telling me that you haven't played any PlayStation this week?
No, I did. I downloaded Just Cause 3, which is a PlayStation Plus free game.
Right before we started recording, you were saying you're having problems with it. So, I mean, when you say broken, is it any more broken than the second one was when it became free on PS Plus?
Oh, I never got to play that, actually.
You never played the second one?
No.
Big Seth loved that game. I thought you would have played it just out of natural.
No, the motion blur in that game is garbage. The frame rate in that game is garbage. It makes me have motion sickness playing it. It's so
Which is
blurry.
interesting because I don't know, it's not the same team necessarily, but it's the same developer.
Avalanche and
it's
Square Enix.
Well, yeah, Square is the publisher, but that's the same team that put out Mad Max. Maybe not the same team internally, but the same overall studio.
And Mad Max was a good
and
game.
A lot of people like Mad Max.
See,
don't get me wrong, there was a little bit of split stuff on that, but I haven't heard a lot of good about Just Cause 3 prior to this. I do think it's interesting that we're getting what's technically a $60 digital download
for free.
That's good. It shows that Sony's listening to the request to get real AAA stuff on there. Though, as a small aside, I'm extremely surprised that we still haven't seen Infamous Second Son or Killzone Shadowfall or even Knack be on the instant. Well, I still call it the Instant Games Collection, which is a PS3 terminology.
Knack 2, baby.
Knack 2 looks good to me.
I might play through Knack.
Screw the haters, man.
It's like $6. So, but anyways, if they updated Just Cause 3 and took out or added motion blur as an option to turn off,
yeah,
I'd love it. Probably. It's just, man, that game is, and there's something that going on where if you play online, you have a chance of corrupting your entire save. So and so far it's always made me play offline. So that may have been something they did.
I don't know. That's very odd.
On the PS4 subreddit, that was one of the first threads about it. Is if you're gonna play this game, play offline because you could lose your entire save game. So there's that.
Well, okay. So it sucks that the first $60 download game we get is a broken game. Or at least that's what it sounds like.
It's playable. Just play it offline.
I mean, I'm going to say Just Cause for me. I mean, I think it's an interesting game to have on there because again, it's a $60 game still at this moment digitally.
Right.
But the games have such ridiculous storylines that I can't even I don't even have fun following them because they're so over the top.
As a matter of fact,
over top exists because Siphon Filter stories are a little overly dramatic,
pretty much.
But they're still easy. They're better to follow and the gameplay is really fun because it's tight knit.
Yeah.
Actually, the part about Just Cause I don't like is that the story structure is set in the open world environment, which sounds weird because that's normally what an open world game is, but it doesn't work for that game because the gameplay and the story missions I feel like should be more structured. Whereas the fun of those games, at least 2 when I played 2, was literally just walking around doing stupid stuff,
right?
Which doesn't last very long for me personally.
Actually, I was going to say that. I was going to say that the story did not interest me off the start. That I actually skipped every cutscene because I played about an hour, 2 hours maybe of it.
Okay.
And it was fun to kind of shoot off my grapple hook, fly to the grapple hook destination, and
the
launch
grapple
out my
hook
parachute.
was the greatest thing. In 2 you could shoot a gas canister like a propane tank, little bitty ones, and as it starts to catch on fire and fly up, you can grapple hook to it and you can fly up with it. And that was really fun. But again, it's fun for 5 minutes.
Exactly.
And I know that me and you have different views on this anyway, but it's actually the same problem I have. I don't like sandboxes because it's for the most part. I don't like sandboxes because the fun of the gameplay is the randomness, but the randomness gets old really quickly. That's why I don't like the Grand Theft Auto games. I was able to work with the PSP ones and the PS2 ones because they weren't as big and they were a little more story focused. You could still run around, but when you did the stories, they kind of tried guiding you to areas, and since the areas weren't so vast, it didn't feel like you were wasting a lot of time.
Yeah, well, we got the triangle squared kitty cat. But I think that he's on my. She's okay. She's on my gym shorts. But I think that that game has the wingsuit, the grappling hook, and I kind of got bored of both of those. Now, Grand Theft Auto and stuff, there's a little bit more extra to do, but I think that maybe I should give it a second try. It is free after all, so I can't complain too much. But what about you? Have you had a chance to? I know you've been pretty busy lately.
Okay, so the first thing we need to you let Tabby be the cat that she needs to be. She's a vivacious woman.
I didn't know she was going to walk over your new laptop.
Nah, she'd be fine.
Okay. She gets over me.
What I've been doing, I got the platinum for those of you who follow us on Twitter. You may have seen it, but I've got the platinum now for Crash Warped, so that gives me the platinum for the entire Insane trilogy, which I actually got that one very quickly. 2 is the one that gave me the most problems because I'd never played that game. It was like my experience with 3 and 1 made those games easier for me.
Right.
Even the hardest levels, because really 1 should have been the hardest because I had 2 levels that were just how I can't. The bridge levels are extremely hard to get times on because you can't die, and it's really hard not to die on those levels on the first game. But the second game just did really well for me. I mean, the third game did really well for me. The second game gave me hell. But I've got that whole Insane trilogy platted out, so I'm done with that for the time being. I mean, that's a game series I love. I will play it again. When Kyrie gets a little bit older, that's what I aim to let her play these versions.
Yeah.
So she's still kind of playing a classic game, but she's playing it, renewed.
Yeah, and I fear that I've made a tweet about this. I was gonna say Twitter post, but I made a tweet about this that the summer game drought is real, and if I'm gonna go head on into another game before Destiny 2, it's probably gonna be Final Fantasy 12.
Well, 12. Okay.
Yeah, not 14.
I know.
15.
Well, we mentioned 15, so I didn't know if you were.
And that may be a game that gets put on my backlog, and I can play when I'm not playing Destiny 2.
Okay.
I always want to break games.
Well, the other thing I've been playing is still Disgaea 3, and that's a game where you got to go back and it's kind of like the problem I have with Pokemon, where I want my whole party to be the same level at all times or as close as possible.
That's true.
And the Prinnies are really kind of hard to level up because you can't throw them and stuff. So it ends up being a lot different of a situation. Tabby, will you get off?
For those that are watching,
my cat's butt.
Yeah,
she's famous. Look, she lifted it up. She knew what to do. But yeah, I've been playing that still, and that's been really fun. Yeah.
I was thinking about getting Disgaea 5 on Switch.
I'm thinking I'll get this. Oh, not on Switch. I really wish they would have brought Disgaea 5 to Vita. But
because I think
Disgaea 4 is fantastic. I think
Disgaea games are best on handhelds.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't have
agree.
a Vita as of right now.
It's really fun. Did you actually trade yours?
Oh, I actually yeah, I definitely traded it in for those dead pixels because they'll send it off and fix it, and I just couldn't deal with those.
Yeah, I don't blame you. But besides that, I actually don't think I played much else. I hopped into a little more Diablo, still slowly turning away at that platinum. But outside of that, I don't think I've played much else. What I've actually been doing for this weekend, which is a little bit weird for me, I've only used the weekend as game time, is I've been writing music again. So who knows? We'll get there eventually.
And see, when you've been writing music, I've been reading books, textbooks. I'm studying for my A+ certification and my Networking Plus certification. And
real life.
Yeah, the A+ certification book is that thick.
Ugh.
So it is massive. And for those that are audio listeners, it's about 3 inches thick. It's huge. But don't even go there. I was going to say, making a joke.
I was not.
Worry.
I was going to say that I can't imagine reading a book like that at this age now. Like, I'm so removed.
It's literally a textbook, too.
I'm so removed from college and school now that that's hard to wrap my head around doing something like that. Definitely when it's not for pleasure. Like, I understand people who read books that big when it's just for straight pleasure. But okay, well, that's cool. I guess we can go ahead and hop over. I noticed that the drop is pretty short. Do you want to go ahead and hit the drop?
Yeah, I was trying to.
You're trying to snap some pictures for Annie, huh?
Well, no, that and I was going to throw them up on the Triangle Squared Twitter.
Oh yeah, second screen experience.
Yeah, so we have some. They can.
Yeah,
see
we have a lot of audio listeners only, so you get to see Tabby.
We have a lot more audio listeners only.
Of course we do.
But so the drop, of course, we're going to head into that. These are releases for the PlayStation systems as of next week. We have Armello Deluxe Edition, a digital PS4 title. We have Batman: The Telltale Series, Season 2, Episode 1, a digital PS4 title.
I'm really happy about that. I am and not.
Art is sick.
Yeah, I'm happy and I'm not because, I bought Telltale Guardians of the Galaxy and I'm waiting to play it until all of them are released, and they haven't even released the 3rd episode, and that came out in May.
Oh, I thought that was complete for some reason, but it makes sense that it's not.
No, so that's sad, but
We have Black Hole Complete Edition, PS4 digital. We have Comet Crash 2, The Conquinoid Wars, a digital PS4 game. Graceful Explosion Machine, a digital PS4 game.
That was a Switch game, I think, that came over, right? It was
I think it is actually.
It was a Switch launch game that's now coming over.
I don't know if it's a launch game, but it's certainly in the launch window.
Very launch window, yeah.
We have the big game of the week for some people. It's Hellblade: Senua's Sacrifice, digital PS4. I wish this was retail.
I do too.
Only 12 gigs, so that's
no 14.
Okay, well, only 14
It's
gigs.
in the news, but we can go ahead and roll through that later. This game looks interesting.
Icy, a digital PS4 title.
Lawbreakers. This looks somewhat fun, but it's still going. You're still going with the Overwatch style. I can't do for too long.
Cliff is a pretty cool dude, but I did not enjoy videos of this game, so I probably won't get that. But that
really,
is
I thought it looked
PS4.
kind of interesting. There's a game I can't remember what it was called.
Is it free to play?
Yeah, pretty sure.
Okay, I might try it with that.
I'm sorry, it's $30, I think.
Oh, okay, I may try.
So it's still not full price. Hey, the Masquerada game. This game actually looks cool.
Masquerada, Song and Shadows, a PS4 digital title.
Mm-hmm.
Make sure that's PS4. Mega Man Legacy Collection 2, a retail and digital PS4 title. I may pick that up.
Yeah, if you either way, it's like 4.75 gigs, so it's not too big. Even if you just go,
Mega Man?
You have to install it either way, but yeah,
that's actually kind of big. I was surprised by that.
Considering what the games are, I know.
Well, and I didn't touch on it earlier, but Mighty Gunblaze Burst, I think is what it's called. That is a very, very Mega Man style game. It's fantastic.
Huh.
Neon Drive, a digital PS4 title. We have Neptune Flux, a digital PSVR title. We have a cat playing in the room. And the last one on the list is Cyan Mora EX, a digital title for PS4.
So I guess, what is that, like the expanded edition, basically?
I guess so.
Yeah, because Cyan Mora came out a couple years back on Vita and PS. I think
PS3.
even PS3 and PS4. Okay, well, that's cool.
So
any notable games outside of? I think Icy looks interesting. But really, my notable game for the week is obviously Hellblade, and I think Ninja Theory deserve a lot of. I'm really interested to see the final product, but from everything shown, I think that they're going to get a lot of credit for doing what no developer's done in a good few years, which is bringing back that middle tier. And I think what a great price, $30, man.
Yeah, and it is. People are commenting on how short it is, but for half the price of a game, you go ahead and hit the news while I get this cat out.
Yeah, that's a good idea. Okay, so first thing up on the list is that Activision, and Saul, this is going to be at least a little bit more on your level than mine, but I don't think so. You're not as much of a collector as I am for physical stuff, but Activision and Sledgehammer Games have revealed collector's editions for the new Call of Duty World War II. Let's see. It's called the Valor Edition, and it also comes in Valor Edition Pro variant. They include a bronze-colored statue depicting soldiers behind a Czech hedgehog, which I just learned today whenever I was looking at this. The Czech hedgehog is a little metal things that they dropped on a Normandy, or they were on Normandy Beach for soldiers to hide behind. They're called Czech, like Czech Republic. They're called Czech hedgehog.
Czech.
I didn't know
Czech
that.
hedgehogs.
Never heard that.
I never heard that either. I'm just saying though that's
yeah, that's what they're called. So
very interesting.
I'm assuming
actually.
they came from the Czech Republic. Or whatever you want to call it.
Wrong time.
All right, so on Normandy Beach, so that's the statue. They also come with the Nazi Zombies poster, a pin, and some patches, like patches that you'd sew on the clothes. The two versions only differ by the inclusion of the season pass in the Pro version for about a $30 difference.
It looks really cool. It just depends on if it's.
Did you see the statue?
Yeah, it looks really cool. I like it. It just
Well,
depends on how big it
They
is.
keep saying it's actually bronze, and it's obviously not going to be bronze.
That'd be very expensive if it's.
Well, I mean, the collector's edition is like $200. But
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I'm pretty sure it won't be. So, moving on. Ninja Theory's Hellblade, as we were just talking, will take up 14.21 gigs. So if you plan to pick it up Tuesday, make sure you have enough room.
And a lot of people don't know that you need double the room. The PlayStation 4 checks to make sure you have enough room by checking double the required space. I didn't know that until I tried to buy a game. Whatever, I can't remember what game it was. It actually might have been just called.
I wonder if that's normal procedure, because I've never. Maybe when you're buying games, but when you just put the disc in, it'll install regardless.
Right? Yeah. It's just checking.
You know, I don't
kept
buy
saying I didn't
very
have
many
enough.
digitals.
Yeah, I kept saying I didn't have enough gigs. And I'm like, I have 20 gigs more than this game.
Yeah, weird. Anyway, other things. Speaking of Hellblade, it's been confirmed to run at 1440p checkerboard resolution on the PS4 Pro. The game will not support HDR at launch, but could come at a later date. Kind of like what they did with The Surge, as all that stuff came afterwards. Next thing up on the list, Neo, Team Ninja's action RPG that released earlier this year. Kind of a Dark Souls-like for y'all who haven't played it. Is getting a new game mode. Update 1.16 looks to bring skill-based PvP to the game. In this mode, all gear and skills will be rebalanced, so it will be a level playing field. Also included in this update is an increase for the level cap to 550, which I didn't know the level cap was that high from the get-go. No word of release for the patch yet, but that could change by the time this episode goes live. So if you're interested in Neo and that sounds interesting to you, keep an eye out for it. Fortnite developer People Can Fly have released the latest patch for their new game, Fortnite, which aims to add a lot of quality life features to the game. It was a pretty big list, so I didn't think it was worth putting on here. If that game interests you at all, and maybe you haven't picked it up yet because you heard weird things about it, or if you picked it up and put it back down, go check out the update. It may do some things for you that are good. It looks like one of the things was like if someone joins your world, they have to get permission to do anything before that way they can't ruin your stuff.
Yeah, and you can kind of do that to Minecraft, right? Where you can kind of turn off that option. You know, I was thinking about picking up this game. Would you pick this game up if I did? Or is it too janky looking?
It's not that it's janky looking. It's a lot like with Minecraft. I can't play Minecraft with just the world building aspect. There's not enough.
You have to have an objective.
Yeah, and again, Terraria worked for me because the objectives are there, but Minecraft was to. I just had to look more into Fortnite. I got to see, are there normal objectives, because like Minecraft, your only real objective is to get to the end,
right?
But that's it.
Yeah, and that makes sense.
Whereas, Terraria,
and I don't know anything about Fortnite.
Pace,
I saw Jonathan playing it, and I was like, "Yo, shout out to Shenanigans and such." But I looked up a video, and I was like, I might buy this game before Destiny, but it depends on if I have people to play it with.
I mean, if Jonathan has it, was it a disc release or just download? I'm not going to spend the money to download it and not like it. Because
it's $60 too, isn't it?
Oh, I don't know if it is.
It is on the PlayStation Store. I don't know if that's like a bundle or not.
I don't know, but I will tell you, until Sony gives some form of refund, kind of like Xbox recently did and Steam has been doing for a while, to where you can refund the game within so many hours of playing if you don't like it.
Yeah, they definitely need to kind of incorporate
I think that'd be really
like
good. So, but actually going off of that, we're talking about not wanting to spend money on something that you don't know of yet. Ubisoft have released a 5-hour trial for Ghost Recon Wildlands, so players who are interested can try the game out free of charge. This is another addition to a recent trend of time trials for games. You've seen that? I mean, we talked about Mass Effect. These are games that I think that their goal is to get people to jump into games that seem a little bit daunting, and if they can like them from the trial, that progress also carries over to the final, if you buy the final release or whatever.
Yeah,
so that's cool.
I actually may download this because I never
played it either, but it looks decent.
In it?
At least.
Yeah, I watched Kind of Funny do a Let's Play on it. That's about the extent of my knowledge to the game.
Yeah, I didn't even watch that Let's Play. So let's see. Next up, NIS America have released a new trailer for East 8, Lacrimosa of Dana. Alongside the trailer, the Day 1 edition was announced for the PS4 version, which will include a 32-page art book and a copy of the soundtrack. There will be no physical release for the Vita version, though it is still coming, and the game is set to release on September 12th. That looks amazing. For all the people that know, a couple months back, before I went to vacation, I was really talking about East Origins. The game is amazing. I still think it's a game you should buy if you get a chance. It was on sale for half price the other day.
I also didn't know it's cross-buy, so I can actually still download that in PS4.
Yeah. I mean, it came out on both. It was a really good handheld game. I like that a lot. Next up, another kind of small side game, Stardew Valley's long-rumored multiplayer mode finally has a release window. While still vague, they aimed for the patch to be ready for Steam in 2018, with plans to integrate the patch into consoles later, but still no technically window for consoles. But it's good that we're seeing it kind of form together. But while we're talking about Stardew Valley, the next piece is, and I put it on here. It could be considered rumor, but there's been a screenshot posted of a conversation with a Stardew Valley support person where they revealed that the game is currently running on Vita, but still needs some optimizations to run at a perfect pace.
Yeah.
So they hope to get this out by the end of the year.
I'm curious as to how that's going to control on the Vita, because I downloaded it again just last week to try it again, and I want to love that game so much, but the controls are just so unintuitive to me.
And it's crazy to me because, there's games like Terraria that on PC, they're very similar to what you were saying Stardew Valley was on PS4, but when they brought them over to PS4, they made sure that the controls made sense for a controller, because Terraria, to me, is actually preferable on controller than it is on mouse and keyboard because of the smart cursor. The smart cursor made it, it was a really brilliant way to go about doing it. So, that's something that's interesting. I still haven't tried Stardew Valley, but I'm interested in it if it does come to Vita. And I think that's one of those, we asked for it and somehow it keeps happening for the most part. Now, of course, some of them have failed back, like Banner Saga that was canceled, which I wasn't interested in that one in particular, but I do think it's good that there's still games coming to Vita this late because people are wanting them. Next up, Gran Turismo Sports VR compatibility may be more limited than Drive Club VR. A post on the official GT website, so Gran Turismo website, says, quote, the game is compatible with the PSVR, providing the user a 360-degree 3D environment to experience. There is a dedicated VR drive mode in the arcade mode where you can drive one-on-one races as though you are really sitting in the driver's seat, surrounded by a real car interior, end quote. This, to me, hints at a limited scope for the VR mode in comparison. I was really hoping to be able to just do a full-on race in it, but the idea of it being a one-on-one race, you get the experience, but it won't be
as immersive.
And I knew that the whole game was not going to be VR compatible, but I thought it'd be more than this. And I knew Tabby to get back in here.
Yeah, no, that was me that time, actually.
Oh.
No, that's not me. Let me get her out again, sorry.
It's not going to help. Don't even worry about it.
Let me get this toy away from her, then.
I'm surprised it took 19 episodes for this to happen. She's been hanging out in her chair lately in here. So, it is what it is. Last thing up on the news is that the PS4 firmware 4.73 released as another small update for system stability. I only decided to put this in here because, typically before they go to a feature full release like 4.50 and 5.0, they end up doing a bunch of smaller releases to get the stability ready.
Yeah.
So, a couple weeks back they did the 5.0 beta sign up. All right. This is going to have to be me this time. Actually, what, Saul? You're in a better range.
Take her in the living room?
Take her in the living room.
Okay. Sorry for any audio listeners that hear cat feet on wood.
I doubt it'll be that big of a deal. But I'm going to go on to start doing reader mail, and by the time you be back, we should be fine. Oh, man, look, I didn't put it up on here. I meant to. Sorry about that. Ryan Turismo Sport, as your Twitter handle is called. Let's see. I remember what it was. Before we started recording the episode, actually about pretty earlier in the day, I asked if there was any questions that y'all would like to hear us answered, and this has actually been probably one of the best ones I've seen from a user yet. Ryan Turismo Sport asked us, do we play games with inverted controls when they're available or normal? And my answer is, even though I'm left-handed and I feel like that would normally put me in an inverted, because a lot of people that are left-handed have that issue, I actually don't play with inverted controls. So Saul, since you're back in here,
Controls are for losers.
So you don't play with inverted controls, right? I will say that's one of the more interesting questions I've seen. When he asked it, I was like, that's a really good question.
I used to play only inverted on Halo 2 on the Xbox.
Well, what's weird is sometimes, depending on the game, it makes sense for it. Like if you're flying, because that's when you're actually doing flying, I don't want left and right to be inverted, but I want up and down to be inverted.
So that makes so if there's options for flying, definitely. But
it gets weird. Sometimes I get used to it because, I was telling you, the jetpacks in Crash Bandicoot 3 is technically flying, but I got used to that control scheme after a little while. So I mean, I don't know. I typically try and play every game with its direct set controls and settings. I try not to go in and change anything. That's just the way I kind of play games. I don't like messing with difficulty too much. I normally play on whatever the normal difficulty is. When I really want a challenge, I'll go to hard, but it's rare. So that's just me in particular. But that was our only reader mail for the time. So one thing I wanted to do before we hopped into the final topic is, they already released the PlayStation Store month of July top downloads. So I'm not going to go over all of them, but I'm going to go over PS4 and Vita, since those are the two really relevant consoles.
Okay.
So not surprising in the least, the number one PS4 game is Crash Bandicoot Insane Trilogy.
Right.
A little more surprising, but I'm pretty sure there was a sale that pushed these all up. Number 2 is Middle Earth Shadow of Mordor, specifically the Game of the Year edition. But
I think that actually was on sale for like $5.
Probably, and that's not surprising at all. And I see people, they announced that you could bring your Nemesis and stuff over from that game if you have a save file
into Shadows of War.
Into Shadow of War. So I think that a lot of people are doing that, not only just to replay the game or play the game that never did. They're also going ahead and trying to bring stuff over. So that's interesting. God of War 3 remastered is number 3. That's also interesting. Going from there, Friday the 13th, the game, Rocket League, Grand Theft Auto 5, still hanging up there. Minecraft PlayStation 4 edition, no surprise. Call of Duty Modern Warfare remastered. That's not surprising since it finally broke out as an individual sale. Ratchet and Clank, that's a little surprising. I wonder if it was on sale.
Yeah, $4 as well.
Okay, cool. Man, really good price for that game.
Yeah, it's 4 or 6.
Yeah. EA Sports UFC 2. I mean, anything under $10.
Yeah, I should have probably.
Final Fantasy 12, the Zodiac Age. That's not surprising either. Star Wars Battlefront Ultimate Edition, Madden NFL 17, Battlefield 1, Tom Clancy's Ghost Recon Wildlands. So it's doing well enough. I guess they're just trying to get those few stragglers who don't want to buy it yet.
Right.
How to Survive 2. I never knew that there was a How to Survive 1.
MLB
The Show 17, Mad Max, Ark Survival Evolved, and Elite Dangerous. So those are the top 20. Moving on to Vita. God of War Collection PS Vita is number 1. And this is just top 10
Another cell
on
game.
Vita. Yeah, Jack and Daxter Collection, Uncharted Golden Abyss. That's only surprising because how many people have Vita that don't have Uncharted? Like, I really would not wonder what that number is.
I had a Vita so long ago that I have it as part of the PS Plus
Instant Games Collection. Yeah, it was there for like a year.
It was. That and Gravity Rush.
Oh, Adventure Time, Secret of the Nameless Kingdom. Still holding up
$1.
in there.
Yeah,
but
why not?
What a great game for $1, man. Ratchet and Clank Collection, Gravity Rush, Little Big Planet PS Vita, Minecraft PlayStation Vita Edition, the Sly Collection PS Vita. It's very interesting that a lot of these are collections.
I think these are all on sale,
Killzone Mercenary.
Okay. Makes sense.
Killzone Mercenary being up there is pretty cool. I'm sure that was probably on sale as well. But that kind of cleans up the stuff that I wanted to get to before that. So now moving into the main topic, and this is something we had a little bit of time to talk about since we decided to get a reader. So the topic for the week actually comes from a Twitter follower of ours, No Fate. He's at Sean1Neo. His topic suggestion to us actually came kind of off of last week's topic of unhated, overly hated or unfairly hated games, or games that you look back on and they're revered more than they were at release.
Right.
He said alternative topic next time, with PS3 lacking the audience, what PS3 games deserve a second chance on PS4? And he's given us his, and we'll go ahead and say those. And I actually agree with every single one of them. PS All-Stars Battle Royale.
Yep.
Absolutely agree. I would like to see either a remaster, because that's a cheap, efficient option to see if there's an audience for that game, or actually just a full-on sequel.
With
more characters. Yeah. Or even if they remaster it, I want them to bring in characters. Like,
get the Hunter from Bloodborne.
No reason they can't do Crash now.
That too.
Absolutely no reason they can't do Crash. And I think there's other new characters that have come in. Bring in Raven from Gravity Rush, so you have Cat and Raven. Let them have their own differences, kind of like Good Cole, Evil Cole in the original game.
Yeah.
Similar characters, but also different. I mean, that's not new to that kind of game. Smash has all sorts of clone characters.
Pretty much, yeah.
So, I mean, it is what it is at that point. But I think there's a lot of good characters they can add in now. And I think it'd be even more... I think... dude... Patapon. What if they add a little Patapon character, Loco Roco?
But the Patapon collection is garbage. Do not buy it.
What do you mean?
I have heard so many people.
I mean, but what do you mean by garbage?
The resolution is literally the same in the cutscenes as the PSP game. That's one.
Because they didn't rebuild the cutscenes.
Yeah, the other one is they're having performance issues very badly. So, like, frame drops constantly, freezing, crashing.
I wonder if it happens on Pro.
No, it does not.
Pro is 4K.
I'm still not supporting that kind of thing.
Oh no, I'm not either.
That kind of parody.
No, it should run equally well between the two of them in terms of just making sure it's playable. But that sucks.
Yeah. So
anyway, so here's where PS All Stars Battle Royale, MotorStorm. And I wanted a new MotorStorm so bad. Seeing Evolution close has hurt me. Not only because I think they're a great studio, but it just, in my opinion, I feel like it's the death of MotorStorm, because the only non-Evolution developed MotorStorm was MotorStorm Arctic Edge, which was a PSP game, PS2 PSP game, and it was fun, actually, really fun game. But I don't think we're going to see another MotorStorm at all now, which we probably wouldn't have seen it from Evolution either. But I kind of thought we'd never see another Wipeout, and while we haven't seen a new one, we did see the Wipeout collection do extremely well.
So
I think we might see a new Wipeout collection. His last one's Resistance, which is one I undoubtedly agree with, 100%. And I don't care if that's in the form of a remaster, a sequel, a reboot. I just think the Resistance games have got so much going for them. I just am a little apprehensive about it being outside of Insomniac as a developer. But I'm not going to say that it's impossible for a game to thrive, because one of my favorite Sly Cooper games is actually Sly Cooper Thieves in Time, which was Sanzaru Games. So, just moving on doesn't mean it's going to change anything. As long as the developer understands what's, Crash Insane Trilogy is actually the perfect example. It was a rebuilt from the ground up thing. Yeah, a lot of it's based around an original release, but they also had to understand what made the original releases work.
Right, and had to go back to
because one thing that they did was they added in Coco all with her own animations, and that was knowing the quirkiness that worked with Crash Bandicoot to make fans not look at that and go, oh, that looks ugly.
Yeah.
So, a few other ones real quick that we actually posted. This as a new thing we're doing. We're going to try and figure out the topic at least a day in advance. And go ahead and post Twitter and let y'all kind of give us some of y'all's feedback before we talk about it, so we have an understanding of what y'all think, while we also inject some of our own stuff in us. And it also helps because, like, in a situation like this, or maybe in games that we didn't think about, that oh crap, we really thought that, that's a great example. So in this one in particular, RJ Loki said he wants Infamous, and I completely agree. Far Cry 3 and Dead Space.
I definitely agree to Dead Space. As a matter of fact, that's on my list.
There's a number of people who said Dead Space, and I'm down with that because Dead Space is so great.
It is.
PS Best Friends, shout out. That's another their PlayStation Best Friends, and they are a podcast also. PlayStation Best Friends. We're actually in works kind of to be on their show.
Sunday.
We're gonna see if that works.
It's Sunday.
Next Sunday, though, right?
Right, yeah.
Okay. So we'll figure that out. We'll be on an episode with them eventually. These guys are great, and maybe we'll try and figure a way for them to be on our episode too. With us being video and doing things a little differently, it gets a little odd, but I want to try and figure out how we can do that.
Yeah, sure thing.
But yeah, they said Red Dead Redemption and LA Noire. My name is Dan. Shout out.
My boy Dan Tiller.
Said Lollipop, Chainsaw, Killer is Dead, and No More Heroes. Now, these are all Suda51 games, so basically he just wants a Suda51 collection.
I love Killer is Dead. I loved No More Heroes. We need this.
Did you never play Lollipop Chainsaw?
No, I never did.
It was extremely quirky, but it was really fun.
I need some more
Travis
Touchdown.
You know what game it is, though, right?
Yeah. I remember the marketing for that game.
Travis Touchdown's the No More Heroes guy, right?
Yeah, main character.
I thought so. All right, so next one up, Saza T93 said Skate Series, which as soon as this topic came, I was like, I want to see a next gen. Don't get me wrong, I would take a remaster, but I want to see a next gen Skate.
Just remaster
bad.
Tony Hawk Underground. The first one.
Skate's better, man.
Nope. I'm sorry.
We'll have to agree to disagree. I love Thug.
Dude, Tony Hawk Underground is so good.
But Skate is so much better. Because Skate achieved what skateboarding was.
Right, but Tony Hawk Underground achieved the comedy and like the aesthetic around it.
It was arcade.
It got its culture correct.
I mean, so did Skate. It was nothing.
I'm just saying it got its culture more to me than
whatever
Skate did.
All right. Jerome Folly. I hated typing it because I was like, I don't know what it is. He said Dead Space. So that's another mention for Dead Space. Gmid 1983 said Spec Ops: The Line. I'm surprised I didn't see more people say that because that game is.
I have that game on PC, and for whatever reason, my PC, it crashes during the intro to that game.
Weird.
So I really want to play that game because I've heard that
it's amazing. I have it on PS3. I don't have PS3, so sorry. Let's see. Enslaved Odyssey of the West. That's another Ninja Theory game, my boys. Binary Domain. It was a Sega game, if I'm not mistaken, and I never got around to playing it, but I do remember it.
Yeah.
Ryan Turismo Sport says Ace Combat, Dragon's Dogma. He mentioned both of these, and then he realized, as he was saying, he's like, I would have said these are both happening. Ace Combat has Ace Combat 7 coming, and Dragon's Dogma is coming to PS4 in the form of Dark Arisen.
Yeah.
So good. He got his witch. Shenanigans and Such. Second shout out for the day.
Yeah.
They said Twisted Metal, among a few other things, but it was Red Dead and LA Noire. But Twisted Metal, great. I love the PS3 Twisted Metal, which is funny because it was a game that didn't sell very well as critically panned, but I loved it. We played a lot of that together.
Yeah. My boy Sir Swatch said the orange box. That's a great answer. I didn't even think of that game.
Actually, I'll say that and Portal 2 both need to come over. And I know we stand on different edges of Portal 2, but I still think it's worth bringing over.
Right.
Regardless of which one's better.
That looks like
and then the only other thing that No Fate added in a response tweet to us tweeting out this was Little Big Planet Karting, which I agree with. And on top of Little Big Planet Karting, I'm going to go ahead and throw the extra route of Mod Nation Racers needs to come back. And I think, or
Just a
or
cart.
a new karting game with the same mechanics. 'Cause it was a really good game. So, Saul, since we're on this topic now,
I actually
let's go. I want to dig deep and think of the games. And I had a conversation with Gideon. And he was saying, and this is a sentiment that I absolutely understand, but basically remasters, and that's why you worded it. To be fair, you worded it remasters, remakes. In my mind, I want to go reboot as well.
Well, that's what a remake is to me.
Well, a remake is remaking it based off of the already thing. A reboot can be anything.
Like DMC
is a reboot.
Okay, yeah. Okay.
Even though I saw a conversation the other day where someone said it's a prequel. It's a separate universe.
Yeah, I saw that. I think that comment, you may be a little misinformed just because of the way the government kind of worked in that game, because the government was pretty much the bad guy. Mundus was like the head of the I can't remember if he's the president or what he was.
It was a reboot of the series.
Yeah.
It was not. I mean,
a lot of people did though think originally it was a prequel. So I can't see where he got that from.
I don't know.
Or she.
I mean, if there's some, you beat the game. I didn't. I got really far though. So if there's information that we're missing out on and it was a prequel, please let us know. Tweet at us. I would like to know that, because I feel like that'd be really crazy.
Yeah,
and maybe it would lend more credence to the fact that there could be a DMC5, if that is true.
I would love it.
I can't say for sure.
I actually need to go replay 4 because it is on the market for I think $40, $30.
Yeah.
So I went ahead and made a list.
Oh,
because I'm good about
a book.
I'm good about lists. I only have one full remake on the list from the ground up.
Now,
like
a remake or a reboot?
Remake.
Okay,
like
so
Shadow.
You want it to be the same as the original source material,
but I want it to be
beautified.
And I bet you already know what game this is. Take one guess, and I bet you get it.
Demon Souls.
Yep. I need the HUD.
I can see this.
I need the HUD to be better. I need
jumping.
I don't know if I need that. I need it to be more polished. I need to go back to, I know it's not Lothric Castle, but the castle in the very beginning of that game was one of my favorite places in that entire game.
What is it?
And I can't even think of the boss's name that you fight in the courtyard.
I can't either.
It is a great game.
It's been a long time since I played Demon Souls.
And I think that remastering or rebooting or remastering or remaking, I don't care.
I would take a remaster back. I would take a remaster with a few small adjustments. Kind of like they did with Kingdom Hearts and other games where they fix things or add things or replace character models.
So many people got into the Souls series because of Bloodborne and Dark Souls 3. They need to know about this title and go back to their roots and play it, because it's such a good game.
Demon Souls is actually quite a bit different than Dark Souls.
It really is. And they, what was it that they brought back in? Or I might be wrong, actually. Wasn't there like a magic meter in Demon Souls, or am I thinking of something else?
No, I think you're right. I think there was, because there was a blue bar, but it wasn't stamina.
Right, okay.
Because stamina was still green, right?
Yeah, and I think they brought that back in Dark Souls 3, right? But except it was...
I don't remember.
Wasn't it used?
I didn't run a magic character, but
I didn't either.
Magic's been in all 3 series. I never used magic characters, so it's hard for me to say.
I only used 1 and 2.
I know that Demon Souls, actually, if you use magic in Demon Souls, it was OP as shit.
That's how it is in 2, and that's why I did it, trying to get the platinum.
Yeah.
I'm still working on that. But I guess I can run through my list real quick.
Yeah,
it's all real easy games to kind of go over. We've already gone over some.
So what I think the best way to set this up is that when you mention the game, mention if you want it to be a remaster, a reboot, or remake. And
okay,
I mean that. So we're gonna say a remake is a lot like Shadow, or even to a different extent, we'll say that Ratchet and Clank's still a remake.
I think everything, because there's only 9 games on my list. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, 9 games, and I think all of them would just be remasters. So I'll get that out of the way now. I think,
and we know Demon Souls is your remake.
Demon Souls is my remake.
Gotcha.
So following Demon Souls, Dark Souls 1. Still, you can't, like, I want to have all the Soulsborne games in one platform, like Kingdom Hearts
on
is.
one console. Okay.
Yeah. We have the Mass Effect collection. 1, 2, 3 are good. People
you're far from alone on that.
Oh,
there's so many people that thought that was going to happen, and EA talked about it and teased it, and it didn't happen.
I'll pay $60 for it. I'll pay $80 for a collector's edition. Dead Space collection, we mentioned that. Never played 3, but I loved 1 and 2.
You never played 3?
Nope.
I know, because you let Michael get in your head, I feel like. Yes?
No.
Is it because you had bad notions going into it? Dude, 3 was great. Don't get me wrong. 2 is, okay, you know where my hierarchy sets. 2, 1, 3. 3 is still, actually, I'll go out on a limb. 2, 3, 1. For as good as the game as 1 is, it's so corridor-based, and it's a lot of retracking that I get tired of that. Replaying 1 is annoying.
See, I never played 3 because I'm 99% sure that I was going to pick it up when I got my PS3.
Okay.
And I think that something else got in my attention, and I want to say it might have been Dishonored.
Dude, 3 was great, and as a wrap-up, I know you'd really appreciate it.
Okay, cool. So yeah, I definitely need to replay that, and I can all buy these on my computer.
And really, dude,
but
3 was beautiful.
yeah,
I couldn't believe it was a PS3
I had the
game.
demo. I had the demo on Xbox 360.
The particle effects were insane.
I don't remember
for
all
this
that.
time period. I could not believe how good that game was.
But we need it.
I think it was a 2012 release, right? I feel like that's right. Or early 2013, one of the two.
I was gonna go back to 2011.
No,
you don't think so?
11 was Little Big Planet. Little Big Planet 2, Killzone, Shadowfall. I mean, not
Okay,
Shadowfall,
so-
Killzone 3. So it wasn't that year for sure.
Okay, so following the collection, there's
Steph
two.
lived with me at the time. That's how I know.
Okay, got it. There's 2 more collections. Devil May Cry collection. We briefly talked about this. There already is one. Sure, do the Kingdom Hearts treatment. Bring it on PS4. 1080p, 60 frames will be golden.
Well, and then you could also realistically, you can, if you really wanted to do it, you could do 1, 2, 3 DMC and then Devil May Cry 4.
Yeah,
You have all
everything
of them
on one
on,
system.
kind of like they did with God of War on PS3 as the God of War Saga. Where
Yeah.
you got literally 1, 2, 3, the 2 prequel games all on one disc,
Okay, yeah, that would be good
or
too.
one disc and then one download card because couldn't fit on one disc. But
Yeah, and see, in the same vein of games is Metal Gear Solid
I
collection.
knew you were going to say it. I'm surprised it
featuring
hadn't come
4.
over. I'm surprised it hasn't come over.
Yeah, so they already made them all basically accessible last gen in the collection. I think you got 3, 2. I don't think you got Twin Snakes in that collection though.
You didn't. It was
Or
just
1, which is Twin Snakes.
It was just well, no, it was 2 and 3, but they came back later and did 1, 2, 3, and 4.
No, it was 2 or 3 and Peace Walker, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that was just that collection. They came back later and did one that was like I don't want to say anthology, but you got one as a PS1 game, but you got one. You got the old Metal Gear games that were just brought forward,
Yeah,
which was
just
in the
Metal
original
Gear.
collection too.
Yeah.
You got 1, 2, 3, Peace Walker, and 4.
Yeah. So that needs to happen. I know Hideo. Wait.
I mean, he didn't have anything to do with it. It's gonna be Konami
It'd be-
at this point.
Yeah, I just now realized that. About no, so that ain't never gonna happen. It'd be more
That-
Metal Gear
Metal
Solid
Gear-
pachinko machines.
Metal Gear Solid Survive.
No. I just now occurred to me that Hideo has no control of that series anymore. Ni no Kuni. Got to get that out before the sequel comes out. Bundle it with the sequel. I don't care. I want to replay that again.
Oh, actually, you know what? I talked about Gideon. That was his response. I forgot to put it on the list.
Oh, was it?
His response was Ni no Kuni.
Okay.
Even though he said he doesn't necessarily agree with remastering games, he said Ni no Kuni.
Yeah, and
more
see,
to get more people to play it.
if you're not going to do backwards compatibility, might as well do remasters. That's
Well,
the-
and and that was my argument is that it gives people who never played the games at all or people who didn't have a PS3 the chance to play them on
And there's
PS4
so-
in their best form.
There's so many people like me, and I keep saying like me, but I had a PS3 2 years before the PS4 came out. But there is
you didn't have time to go through
I didn't
that
have to,
backlog.
yeah. So there is
Yeah.
all these games that people need to experience that they were on previous consoles.
Well, and I'll say, I'll go ahead and kind of recap me and Gideon's conversation because he was like, I said, well, it gives people a chance to play them in their best form. And he said, as far as he knows, he hasn't seen a big difference. And can I name some games that came over from the PS3 gen
that they
that actually had
improved upon.
improvements? And I think, what I mentioned is the very first thought that came to my head, just because it's been something I've been doing lately,
Yeah.
is playing the Kingdom Hearts games in 60 frames per second, which is a big change. That's one thing. When Grand Theft Auto 5 came over in the form of a remaster, it came alongside with first person mode. So not only did it get that, it got a new form. Skyrim is something I thought of almost last, but Skyrim is a game that for a lot of people, luckily it worked for me on PS3, but for a lot of people, it didn't work at all on PS3. So it came over to
It
PlayStation
did have some
consoles.
bad performance
It
issues.
came over to PS consoles on PS4 in a much better looking, much better playing form.
Right.
And there's been a few examples like that. Metro Redo, Redux, whatever you want to
They
call
added
it.
in the survival-
They added
the
in
mask.
the mask breaking mechanics into the first game, which was not originally present, which was awesome.
Right.
So,
But my last game is Red Dead Redemption.
and we've had this comment. Red Dead was just, I could never get into it. I've tried and tried and tried. I remember I was so excited when I got it because the game was so hyped. And that wasn't, and like we've talked about, I keep my hype in check. It looked like it was going to be a fun game for me, and it fell into the same problem that Grand Theft Auto 4 did. It was too big and felt almost too pointless. And it is a little weird because Far Cry, being the way it was, Far Cry's world felt more dense to me. And the hunting was more important in Far Cry from an upgrading standpoint than it was in Red Dead.
I just love Red Dead's world and stuff. But what are some games you have?
Okay, so I didn't make a list because I'm not all fancy, and I really should have, but I've been very busy. But going over it now, Resistance is almost always in that for me.
Yeah,
I would
of course.
love to see a Resistance trilogy completely brought over because I think 1's a great game, 2's a great game, and 3 is the best in the series to me personally. And And I would even like in that collection, if possible, I would like to see them bring Retribution over from the PSP. That's one thing. Even though this isn't technically PS3, I would still consider it last gen, at least last gen handheld. Crisis Core. We talked about it plenty of times.
That's true.
But Crisis Core, I feel like needs to come over, and the problem is it's stranded only on disc on a handheld that's too old for people to care.
Well, never mind. I'm not going to bring it up on the show. Some people can see it as unethical, so I won't diverge into emulation talk.
Oh, well, I mean, here's the thing. No matter how unethical it is, if you cannot easily get the console in the game,
right,
then that's what is emulation if you can't. The company should make it easy. I'm not saying that it's not still wrong to emulate.
Yeah, but it's they have a chance to make my money, but they don't want to.
Can bring the game to PS4, and I will gladly pay for it. I would have paid for it on PS3. I would have paid for it again on PS4.
There's a system that that I can tell you about after the show, but it's called a GPD XD. It's like a little handheld that's the size of a 3DS, and it's made for pretty much emulation only.
I saw that clamshell design. It flips up.
Yeah,
it looks cool.
Oh, they're about $250, but I was probably going to buy one.
A lot of money.
It can emulate all the way up to GameCube.
You sure?
Yep, it has some issues in some GameCube
which means
games.
It technically should run Wii.
I don't know about that. I did see somebody playing
Wii and
Twilight
GameCube are the
Princess.
same emulator. Dolphin.
Oh, Dolphin, yeah. But I did see somebody playing Twilight Princess on it, which was pretty cool. And they were playing like Symphony of the Night. They were playing all kinds of games that ran it perfectly. So,
wow, that's crazy.
So that's a little side topic, but go ahead and continue on. I don't want to
run a few of my other lists, Dead Space for sure. Skate, I want to see, but I actually am more interested in seeing what a full next-gen Skate would be, just like Dead Space. I want to see a Dead Space reboot. I don't think the Dead Space 4 can make sense. At least not with Isaac, and I think if you take Isaac out of the equation and still make a sequel, it's gonna be one of those weird things. Like I think it was smart.
It's milking it.
Well, no, I'm not gonna say milking it. It's gonna be hard on fans. It's like God of War. I think they were smart to keep with Kratos, because what is God of War as a sequel? Okay, and they said that this is a sequel. What is God of War as a sequel without Kratos?
Yeah.
It doesn't really work.
It's just like a sequel without Isaac Clarke would not be a sequel. Like it wouldn't even. I don't know.
That's why I'd rather them just go on and say, "Hey, we're completely rebooting this. This is a fresh look at the Dead Space and what it can, Dead Space franchise and what it can be."
Right.
That's one. I do agree with you, very much so, that Demon's Souls is a game that could use the new audience that have never seen it. There's so many people. It's again a game stranded on PS3, but at least there's still a lot of people playing PS3.
Because that was just. Oh, that's the computer again. That was just, I can't think of the developer's name.
You talking about From Software?
Yeah, that was just From that made that, right?
Yeah.
From and Sony.
No, I'm sorry. No, it was From and Japan Studio. Same exact mix-up that worked on Bloodborne.
Got it. Okay, yeah, they can bring that over. Get Blue Point to do it. Blue Point and Japan Studio are working together for Shadow.
I'd be interested in that. You know what I mean?
So, yeah, I would love it.
So, I mean, Little Big Planet, karting, I think is a fine answer. But I feel like Little Big Planet kind of drenched the market to some extent. So I think a game that got probably a little less love that was just as deserving. Mod Nation Racers. I do think I would like to see a new one. But I would also I would like them actually to bring the PS3 one over with the same additions they added in the Vita one, which is a few mechanic switches to make the game. The Vita one's like the perfect balance of mechanics to me.
Yeah.
Looking down some people's list, I think Spec Ops: The Line is a very good option.
I know what happens in that game. Not going to say a word.
Don't say a word. Don't say a word.
It is amazing.
The game is very good. That game is very good. It's up there in terms of shooters, even though it's not first person. That's why I'm going to say it's a little different. It's in its own world to me.
It's almost like a Dead Space game, actually.
But it's up there, in my opinion. It's up there with great shooter stories like Resistance 3. And I very much mean that. And I think Metro Last Light was also a fantastic game.
I want to go back and platinum both. Well,
both of the Metro games.
No,
you thought 2033 was better, right?
Which is the first one?
Yes.
That's 2033.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. Last 2033 with the upgraded survivability system is my favorite.
Okay. I mean, I'm down with that. Twisted Metal, I agree with 100%. I'd like to see a Twisted Metal new one.
I played,
actually.
Twisted Metal on the PSP. That's the only Twisted Metal game I actually put a lot of time into.
Oh wow, the PS3 one was great, but I think people got weird expectations. But it was great. I loved it.
I did enjoy the one on PSP.
It was a very good game. It was very fun. It was very fun, definitely as a party game. But now I want to go into the realm of what I think, and this is probably about to be the end of it for me, because there's other games I definitely think deserve to come over, but a lot of them have been covered by fans. I think Infamous is a great one, even though Infamous has been doing fine. But
yeah,
I
they
think
did a
that
good
remasters, with the conversation with Gideon, I think remasters should be, for games that didn't necessarily have a huge market, they were kind of niche, and give them a chance to come over. Because what kind of even has my mind on this is like, Nier Automata did so well, and Nier 1 was a flop. And the games are not honestly that much different. I mean, they are, to be fair. I can't say that they're not that much different. But, every bit of what makes Nier Automata weird is the same stuff that made Nier weird, but it came out at a better time on a console. JRPGs are back in function. It was on the radar for more people. And I think that what I would like to see, two of my very go-to answers are in games that I would love to just go ahead and replay just on PS4 with better performance, is Drakengard 3, a game that had really bad hiccups and just general looks and feel and frame rate on PS3. I would love to play that game again with a much more smooth image quality, a much more stable frame rate. Go even the 60 frames per second,
which is why I'm glad
that Nier Automata had,
and that's why I'm glad Dragon's Dogma's coming back. The game was a
mess.
In the
same way, yeah. And then you have the original Nier. I would love to play the original Nier completely brought over to the console with all of the hiccups gone. If you make Nier Automata, if you make the original Nier beautiful, and that game didn't have a lot of frame rate problems, but it was kind of ugly. So if you make both of those games, if you bring them over,
I remember that game being
you
fuzzy.
Open it was okay. It was a lot like Shadow. You play Shadow and you're looking at it like
it's almost staticky looking.
It's a pretty world that's just like you're looking at it through like a dirty window.
Right, yeah.
Not necessarily that bad, but
yeah.
So
I could go with that comparison.
As much as I love those games, so and I was thinking about that. There's a lot of PS3 games that I loved, but one more deep dig into a game that I think should be remastered or even just rebooted in a reattempt. And I think that it wouldn't be that far out of the realm of possibility because it's linked to a franchise that's doing fantastic at the moment. So Dark Sector.
Dang it.
Dude, Dark Sector is linked into, for those who don't know, is linked into the Warframe.
I forgot about that one. That's literally on my list.
And you didn't even say it.
I forgot about that completely. Yes, that is a good game.
That is a fantastic game. And
what series are you talking about though that's linked to right now?
Warframe.
That's in the same universe?
Yes. And it's the same developer. And you should know their character's original name was David Tenno or something like that.
Oh, and then there's
in
Tenno.
Warframe, they're called the Tenno because he was the original. That's why they named it after him. He was the original person.
Man, I tried to, speaking of Warframe, I tried to
originals.
download that the other day. You can't delete your character on PS4 and start again.
I've had this conversation with someone else.
I don't know.
I don't know if that's true, but then maybe it's a weird way of, did you look it up?
I have Googled it. You have to contact support, and sometimes they will or will not delete it for you.
Ooh.
So it's like, I want to start a new character.
For what Warframe is, don't get me wrong, Warframe's fine, but Warframe is not what I'm looking for in that universe. Dark Sector was such an interesting game, had a good story, had interesting concepts, and in the same vein, I would like to see Heavenly Sword. I didn't say that a second ago, but I meant to.
Another shout out to Ninja Theory.
Enslaved Odyssey to the West is on the list for one of the guys, and I think that every Ninja Theory game has been so fun. And so good. I think Hellblade is.
I really hope Hellblade.
I think Hellblade's a little bit of what I would say a somewhat spiritual successor to Heavenly Sword, but I would really like to see Heavenly Sword brought over.
I need it to have
or a sequel. I don't know how that would work.
Gameplay. I need it to have it. That's why I'm not buying it day one. I will buy it on Wednesday.
What, Hellblade?
Reviews. Yes.
Dude, you can come over if you have an off day.
Yeah.
You off Tuesday?
I'm off Wednesday.
We're gonna make this a game. We're gonna a game. We're gonna make it
I'm sure
party.
it has a good narrative, but see, that's something that's kind of exhausting me, and that could be another topic.
Combat looks so great. It's weighty, and it looks like what I like about the Dark Souls games.
And see,
surprisingly.
Yeah, and I love weighty combat. But see, that's the whole thing, and that's what I was saying about a topic another day maybe, is that I know it's got a good narrative, but does it have the gameplay that makes me stay there?
We'll see. So, I mean, in terms of the games that are most important for me to come, I think that's probably it. I know as soon as we stop recording, something's going to hit me over the head like I can't believe I didn't say that. But you know what? I'm comfortable with the list I've had, and I feel like I could, if someone was to quote me on this list, I'm proud of it.
Yeah, me too. I kind of racked my brain for about a solid hour.
I think it's so interesting. I say Dark Sector, and then it's literally written there on your list, and you just didn't say it.
I completely forgot about that.
I'm going to do a quick scan of my little game section, because, a lot of them have come over, and I've kept pretty much every PS3 game that was really important.
I'm still doing a bad job of being a good PlayStation fan, because I would love me some Viva Pinata. Dude, I'm being 100% legit. That game was so fun.
Well, all right. Well, that's still last gen, so we'll just consider that part of the topic. All right. Well, dude, past that,
I think that's it. You know, I think it was great that our Twitter followers joined in on the conversation. I think this is something we'll continue to keep doing.
We got a good response, I feel like. So that's good. If y'all like this, please let us know. Tweet at us. The other idea we had, and originally I was going to kind of put it up as a poll, but I figured, you know what? Let's just go ahead and test it and see what happens. The other idea we had is that the episode, like say this is this week's topic. Next episode we would mention it before we got into the main topic, where we'd go back and look at some of the things that y'all thought about it. But y'all just tell us if y'all think this works, and if it does, I think we'll continue to do it. We want, we like having conversations with you guys, and we've been having a really fun week, actually. As stressful as work has been, I've actually been able to hop into Twitter and have conversations that are just fun. And I keep telling people, I don't care about Facebook at all. I never have, but Twitter just grabbed me because the people I get to have conversations with it's fun.
Yeah.
And it's focused conversation. We know what we're here to talk about.
And see, I may be making. I don't have any form of social media for any of our followers out there, especially our close ones like Dan and
I don't even touch my own. It's so much easier for me to just do everything.
I may be making myself an actual personal Twitter that's related to this as well, but that way I can talk to people about Splatoon, because I don't feel like that would be good content for our Twitter, because that is Nintendo. So yeah, that way I have a little bit more freedom of talking about Splatoon and Breath of the Wild and other games I love.
Nobody's whipping you in the back, man. You talk about what you want, but
I mean, it doesn't make sense for a PlayStation Twitter to be talking about Nintendo games. But hey, I'm not gonna judge. I honestly think the best combination you can have in this current generation is build your gaming PC, have a Switch, and have a PS4. You'll have everything you need.
To be fair, though, considering the amount of, it depends on what you look for in a game, but I think that for the average gamer, your real combination is just going to be PS4 Switch.
Yeah.
Because I think a lot of people, PC is just a weird area, but that's a different topic for a different day. So until then.
One we actually have already covered.
Yeah, so until then, if you did not tweet in and give us your suggestions of what games you thought should be remastered from the PS3 generation, let us know what you think. What games, see if there's any games that we missed that y'all feel like are dead shoe-ins that should have been done. I'm sure there's one we'll miss, and I'm sure as soon as someone says it, I'm going to go, man, I can't believe I didn't think about it.
Yeah.
But, y'all tweet at us, let us know. If y'all listen to us on podcast services, we really appreciate it if you'd go in and give us a review and kind of rate us. So it helps us get up there in the viewings, helps people find us, and it helps us know what we need to do to keep making the show better for you guys. But until next week, Saul, is there anything else you'd like to add?
No. If you want to join in on the conversation, follow our Twitter. We try to pin the tweet up around Thursday or Friday.
At Triangle SQRD.
Yep, Triangle SQRD. Okay, I did not hear what you just said. It threw me off.
SQRD. Somebody had the original Triangle Squared taken.
Okay, I was like SQU is right?
No, SQRD.
Okay, but yeah, so you can get in on this juicy conversation. Depending on if this picks up, though, I don't know if we'll be able to get everybody in.
Oh yeah, we'll just have to kind of do.
So be sure to be one of the, I would say if it came to that, the first 5 or 6 people to comment.
We'll see. I might just shake it up if something really grabs me and nobody else mentioned it. Bam, I'll throw it in there.
Or we could get our own 3 or 4 favorites and kind of pull from them.
Yeah.
But we do enjoy you listening. We enjoy you rating. We enjoy you following. But more importantly,
we enjoy the conversation.
We enjoy you as fans, and that's what we want a good old community. We don't have advertisement or nothing as of this moment. We don't care about none of that. We just like having you people listen to us.
Okay.
Is that raining?
That sounds like maybe, but that sounded a little convoluted.
I want to go home.
You like people listening to you? You get down on that?
Of course.
Anyway, this has been episode 19 of Triangle Squared. Thank you very much.
Thank you, guys.